is enough said.
Happy Thursday, Heat Nation. Yo, boy Ernest here. Back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. We're almost at the end of the work week, so let's get happy. Let's celebrate and share that positivity, y'all. Don't forget to click the like button, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell. But more importantly, click that subscribe button. About 60% of y'all that watch these episodes are not subscribed. Come on, help your boy out. And please, guys, I'll leave the link in the description. Don't forget to vote my daughter Maya as Toddler of the Year. We got 7 days left to get that grand prize. Would really help me with the channel, make some upgrades. So would really appreciate everyone's support. Now that we got that out the way, y'all, please join me as we go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. Sorry for the long intro. You know how it is. Anyways, so I want to continue this series on the Miami Heat's final 15th roster spot. What should the Heat do with it? Should we continue to leave it open in case of making a trade where you're taking 2 players and sending out 1? Should you fill that role? Now, I cut a couple episodes yesterday talking about the possibility of bringing Gary Payton Jr. and Russell Westbrook on the Miami Heat. And as great as options I think those players are on this team, they give us something that we kind of already have. You know, we're kind of filled at the guard position. You know, you have Tyler Hero, Norman Powell, Kasparis Yakajonas. And by the way, Norman Powell, who's going to be wearing number 24 now, taking Haywood Highsmith's number, Highsmith going to number 8. That was definitely a little bro move, but hey, you know, respect to Highsmith giving Powell his number. That keeps Powell happy on this roster, I guess. But it's pretty cool. I actually like the number 8 on Highsmith. But anyways, getting to the point. You have a lot of guards on this team. Hero, Powell, Davion Mitchell, Kasparis Yakajonas. I'd love Yakajonas to get some reps. He's a great distributor, so I can definitely see him be beneficial in the second unit. I'd love to see Yakajonas and Jovic out there together. So I think the Heat are pretty filled with the guard position. But one position that I think we lack and we could use help with, and I've mentioned this before and I'll say it again, it's the power forward center position. You know, right now in the rotation, you have Kel'el Ware, Bam Adebayo, and then when either of those guys come off the bench, you have Nikola Jovic. But then that's it. You know, you have Vlad Golden. He's a two-way player. He's still really raw, so you don't know what you're going to get with him. I think he still needs more time to develop, but he could help. He could give you little spurts like Omar Yurtseven did in the 2022 season when Bam was injured. So I could definitely see Vlad Golden being another Omar Yurtseven, hopefully better. But still, he's raw. You do have other players, you know, Haywood Highsmith at the times plays power forward position, but we need somebody better. We need an upgrade in the center position. So that way, if Kel'el Ware, Nikola Jovic, or Bam Adebayo misses some games, you have a guy that's going to be right there and it's going to step up. So in today's episode, I want to talk about Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher is still a free agent. He's 32 years old, so he meets the timeline. You know, he had some really good years with the Toronto Raptors, former NBA champion. Last season, he was very productive, only averaged 17 minutes a game, you guys. Played 50 games due to injury. But he averaged 10 points, 4.5 rebounds, 49% from the field, 36% from the three-point line, 78% from the field, 6'9", 200 pounds. He plays the center power forward position. This is a guy that can score in the paint. He can score on the outside. He's pretty solid defensively. His breakout season was the 2021 season where he played 60 games, averaged 13.5 points a game, 2 blocks per game. But he's never averaged almost a block a game since that season. But he still gives you really good defensive prowess. He's a guy that can space the floor. He can play the good pick and roll game. He can come off the bench with Yakajonas and play that 1-2 punch or Davion Mitchell. What you need right now, you guys, on this roster is depth. If you're going to compete with this young team, because I look at the Miami Heat right now, and I think playing at worst, 3rd or 4th seed at best. And it's definitely a possibility with an open Eastern Conference because, you know, Boston's going to be out of it. We know what's going on. East is going to be open. It's not wide open because you have a lot of good teams that have made upgrades. You have Cleveland, you have New York, you have Orlando. Detroit's getting better. Atlanta got better. So you're going to be competing with all these teams. But Miami can definitely compete for a top 6 spot and get out of the play-in. We've gone the last 3 years in the play-in tournament. 1 year out of it would be incredible. Now, the good thing is we have our 2026 draft pick. So at worst, if we don't have a good year, our pick is fully protected for us. But Chris Boucher, you guys, if we are looking to compete next year in the East, this is a guy that you can add on this roster for depth. He's a guy that can fill in as a starter the games where Kel'el Ware doesn't play. He can be a great solid role player off the bench. This is a guy that if you add in the roster, it's only going to make your team better. You know, he's a former NBA champion. He only played 28 games the year they won the title, but he experienced it. He has championship pedigree. He's had solid seasons. He's been a quality role player with the Toronto Raptors. You add this guy to the roster, it makes you better. Now, the Miami Heat can offer 2 different contracts to Boucher. They can give him a 1 to 2 year veteran minimum with a player option, or if you want to satisfy him, you can give him the biannual exception, which is $5.1 million. You can make it a 2-year, $10 to $11 million contract with the second year being a player option. The market's really dry right now, you guys. There's not a lot of team with cap flexibility. So a lot of these free agents that are available are most likely going to have to take less money. You know, kind of like what Bradley Beal did. You know, a lot of these players are doing that, taking the biannual exception, doing a 1 year with a player option, just in case if they get injured. But this is for them to have a solid season and then go into the open market for 2026, where there's going to be 11 teams that are going to have salary cap flexibility. So I think Boucher fits on this roster. I think he would be a quality addition to the power rotation. If you have Kel'el Ware, Bam Adebayo, Chris Boucher, and Nikola Jovic as your power forward center rotation, sprinkle in a little Vlad Golden and Haywood Highsmith for some help. I know Highsmith is small, but he at times can play the power forward position depending on the matchup. So I think it works. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you. And I'm doing this video because a few of you have been in the comments talking about Chris Boucher. I did an episode about Chris Boucher a few weeks ago. For those of you mentioning in the comments, don't know if you've seen that, but this one's for y'all. So you let me know, does Chris Boucher fit on this Miami Heat team as a potential backup center? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We're pushing to 7,000 subscribers. I'm going to leave the link in the description. Please vote my daughter Maya as Toddler of the Year, you guys. It really helps me go a long way. Thank y'all so much for the support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said.